Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
The president is speaking tonight in a primetime address. Is he going to declare a national emergency? Is that your expectation?
What I expect the president will do tonight is explain to the American people that we have a humanitarian and security crisis at our southern border.
We do.
60,000 people are now attempting to come into our country illegally every month. That's more than 2,000 a day. But what's unique about it, Hallie, and why the Washington Post has even called it a bona fide emergency, is because the vast majority of those people now are families and unaccompanied children, and it simply is overwhelming the ability of our Customs and Border Patrol to address it. And so the president will take those facts to the American people. He'll talk about the 17,000 people with criminal records that we've apprehended at our border. He'll explain the need not just to build a wall, which he's determined to do, but also to provide our Border Patrol with additional resources, humanitarian and medical assistance, new technology. But the Democrats need to come to the table and start negotiating. But tonight, the president will take that case to the American people.
I heard you use the word crisis. I heard you use the word emergency, citing this Post piece. So is this a signal that the president will declare one at some point, perhaps this week?
Well, as he has said, it's something that he's looking at and considering.
Oh, he's considering. I think he's pretty much a chicken shit. Do you? I don't know. I don't think, they say that Kelly had to do the firing of, Omarosa because Trump was too afraid of her. So I don't know if Trump has the nads to shut down, well, here's what would happen. If Trump does invoke emergency powers tonight, he's the new, superhero. He's got emergency powers. Woo, look, I can suspend habeas corpus. You're going to prison without a trial, like that. If Donald Trump does something like that, then, of course, in tandem, he would reopen the government. I just want everybody to understand that is what he would do. He would reopen the government, saying that we had some sort of an invasion or some foreign, a threat at the southern border, that there was, a national security threat that can be dealt with through no other alternative but to take unto himself emergency powers and thereby open the government and redirect money. And this is the part he really can't do. He can declare an emergency. I mean, the president can do whatever he wants, right? But can he redirect money? Well, this is the part that is going to go to court. If the president did this, he would do this to open the government. I just want you to remember I said that because nobody's saying that, and that is probably, the biggest reason for him to go around Congress. So he can reopen the government and declare an emergency and redirect money from the Department of Defense, where we have nobody in charge. You understand that. Everybody's enacting. We don't have an attorney general. We don't have a secretary of defense. We don't have a chief of staff at the Department of Defense. I mean, if anybody was going to do something crazy, now would be the time, because there's really nobody there to tell them anything. And there's nobody there to talk to our service members, to express to our service members that if they obey an illegal order, which he could, try to give pending a court decision saying you can't do that, which could take a really long time, then those military members who do the illegal thing by following an illegal order would then be the ones that go to Leavenworth. Just saying, if you're active duty. Just saying. However, if the president does take unto himself emergency powers, can he then build his wall? The answer seems to be, I don't know, according to the legal scholars. of course, it looks like the answer is no. It looks like, that it would be an abuse of his power because we're not facing a national security crisis inside the United States, okay? And so this, if he does it, I'm sure he's being counseled right now that if he does it, it could be seen and would be seen by many as an abuse of power and impeachable offense. It almost certainly would be blocked by courts. The U.S. Constitution does not contain any national emergency provision that allows the president to spend money for purposes not allocated by Congress. And here's the most important part about it. Congress expressly denied the funding to him. And not just this Congress, not just the 115, the 114, the one that was loaded with GOP members, the one that had a GOP majority, the one that had a GOP House and a GOP Senate. They also denied him the funding to build the stupid wall. So now you have two Congresses who expressly denied the appropriation of money to build the stupid wall. And in that case, I'm pretty sure a court would say that he has an alternative method to solve his dilemma, and that alternative method is Congress. And Congress has told him in no uncertain terms, no. Now, that being said, if the president does take unto himself emergency powers because he believes we're, being invaded or terrorists are at the border, which has been roundly and soundly debunked by every single news organization you could possibly name, except for the opinion people over at Fox News, a vowel movement away from what it does to the news. Article 1, Section 9 allows for various horrendous things to happen during the case of rebellion or invasion. Neither of these things are happening. And so he could, and you should be very careful about what you wish for, because if he can make a case that there is an invasion, which he's tried to do before, and he gets these emergency powers, I'm still not sure he could spend money that was expressly denied to him by Congress to build his stupid wall, but I do know he could then suspend habeas corpus, meaning you could be rounded up and put in jail with no court arraignment, with nothing, no legal recourse. So be very careful about this as you're listening to him explain to you whether or not he intends to invoke emergency powers. Personally, I think it would be too much work for him. It would all be on him. I know he thinks he alone can fix it. I get that he is a narcissist. I get that he's got narcissistic personality disorder and he meets every single criteria in the Mayo Clinic's a symptom tracker for narcissistic personality disordered people. You could check them all off when you think of Trump or when you describe Trump, no doubt about it. But I also think he's very lazy, and I think it would interfere in his television watching and his golfing, and I don't think he wants all this responsibility. He could just get on TV tonight and lie to the American people and, say that he's leaving the government shut because he's got to fight for his wall, make his stupid case for his wall again and say the same damn thing that he says over and over and over and over again, which requires fact checkers to fact check it over and over and over and over again. And no fact checker is ever going to find that anything he says about terrorists at the border, about the southern border being the most vulnerable border. Anybody ever look at the northern border? Look at the northern, there's nothing there. And guess what? 41 people who were on the terrorist watch list were arrested at the northern border. Southern border, no terrorists arrested. None. And that is according to the Libertarian Cato Institute. 0. So, he can stretch, he can lie, he can, assume all the positions of the Kama Sutra. He can put Mike Pence on the TV to lie. They're all getting caught. There's no question. The news, the journalists are on the case. They are debunking. They are working overtime. People like me who do fact check freshly daily, we are exhausted by this president. Look at me. I'm exhausted. We're all fried by this president's imaginary, invasion, his imaginary terrorists, his imaginary crisis at the border, because, you got 4,000 Honduran housewives from, haggard housewives from Honduras with their children, with their toddlers, trying to find a nonviolent place to raise their kids. I mean, this is just, it's an amazing presidency. And I want you to know a couple of good things are happening today before we listen to Idiot Boy, the orange, ass. Get on the... Oh, I will say there will be a rebuttal. There will be a rebuttal. The president is going to speak, and it'll only be 8 minutes. So I'm not sure he's going to declare an emergency, okay? I just don't feel it. I mean, if he does, God help us, is what I'm saying. If he doesn't, then Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are going to do the rebuttal to all the bullcrap that he lays out tonight. Some people are suggesting that the networks run it on a slight delay to give them a chance to put up the fact check, alongside him. Like 3/4 of the screen would be, him and his, his pie hole. And then the 1/4 of the screen would be the fact check when he says, terrorists at the border, or other presidents have said that they want a wall and they wish that they had built a wall. Mike Pence got popped today for saying that. I mean, it's just what's her name? Hallie Jackson. Pence was all over the morning shows today, just lying up a storm. Hallie Jackson, is just one example. She asked him, so what other presidents living, which other presidents have called the president and said that they secretly wanted to build a wall, but they just couldn't do it? Which presidents would that be?
Which former presidents told President Trump, as he said, that he should have built a wall? All their representatives have denied that was the case.
Well, I know the president has said that was his impression from previous administrations, previous presidents. I know I've seen clips of previous presidents talking about the importance of border security, the importance of addressing the issue of illegal immigration.
But not a wall.
That's different from telling the president, though, right?
But look, honestly, the American people want us to address this issue.
Oh, God, he lied. Everybody knows he lied. He knew he was lying, and he knew people like me and you who pay attention, that we knew he was lying. Everybody, he just lied. So interesting, because it just took a couple of phone calls to W, to Bill, to Barack, and to Jimmy Carter, the living presidents, and they asked, have you spoken to Donald Trump about a wall or any border security? Bill Clinton said he had not spoken to Donald Trump at all since the inauguration. W said he had spoken to Trump at the funeral for his dad, but never about a wall. Carter said he hasn't spoken to the president at all. And Obama said he hadn't spoken to the president since the inaugural. See, they're just lying. They just make crap up. And that's why we need sort of a 1/4 of a screen for fact checking. And it's very important that we have a rebuttal from Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. And that will occur tonight at 9 o'clock, 8 minutes, after. There'll be a rebuttal. So stay tuned. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.